Hey everyone, this is Jane with Barlow Herbal, and happy Sunday, June 18th of 2023. It is a beautiful day here in Utah, and as usual on this beautiful Sunday, I am going hiking as soon as I film this for you. Not only am I going hiking with my son Brian, but I am hiking with a huge group of my family because last night we had a family wedding. So I've had a super busy week. I had almost zero time to sit down with my journal and have reflection time because any of you who have big families or have families at all, and you know when a lot of people come into town and there's a wedding happening for a close family member, especially if it's in your town or there's people staying with you, that it can be a lot and there's not a lot of downtime. There's not a lot of reflection time, right? So this week was just a super busy week. Last night, my beautiful niece, who is the daughter of one of my brothers, got married. And it was a beautiful ceremony. It was lovely. Of course, we're not a small bunch. And when you just invite close, immediate family, you end up with a pretty good group. And the wedding was held at one of my sister's homes. And it was just over the top, full of so much joy and so much love. And we all know that sometimes when we're getting together with family or we're coordinating events or we're putting on something like a wedding, which has so many details. Of course, there are simple weddings you can do. And that's one reason, sometimes people say, I just want to elope, right? So this has just been one of those really cool moments that I thought I'm going to write down. What are the health benefits of spending time with your family? Because I think what happens is these events like this can get a little bit stressful. In fact, I know they can get stressful. And what I love is that as we realize the importance of, we at the bottom end of it all, we love each other. And because we're all getting older, we know the importance of family, and our parents have both passed on, all of my siblings and myself, and so we're now in the place of, we're the mature adults, we're the ones putting on the events and making sure things run smoothly and keeping stress levels as low as we can, and showing an example of how close, healthy families function, right? So I just wrote a few things down about the health benefits of spending time with your family. So I'm going to go through these pretty quick because, like every Sunday, as soon as I'm done with this, I'm going to jump in my car, throw on my hiking shoes, and like I said, there's going to be probably about 10 of us that are going to be hiking this morning before a few of them get back on airplanes later today and go back to where they live. So the very first one is that spending time with your family improves your mental health, especially if it's face-to-face. So it can reduce depression and anxiety, and being physically present with your loved ones creates strong emotional bonds and support to carry us through tough times. So unless you have a severely dysfunctional family, and I know it's kind of a joke to say my family is dysfunctional. Really, we all have little bits of, if you want to classify them as dysfunction, we have things that, this is part of being a human being, and being on this earthly plane is that there's going to be things that don't always turn out perfectly, but the thing is that's part of life. And I think the most important thing about how it can improve your mental health to really think about here is the especially face-to-face. It's one, it is nice if you're not able to be face-to-face with someone who lives far away, or one of my sisters has a daughter at college and her other son just graduated and he's going off to college in the fall. So thank heaven for such brilliant technology that she can literally, they can FaceTime each other on a regular basis, and there's that connection, which I didn't have that when my boys were, first out of the house, and it was, that would have been really an amazing gift. But if you live it nearby with people that are in your family, I would say nurture those face-to-face relationships. And I'm super lucky in that I have a husband who loves to entertain, not just our family, but our friends as well. And luckily he knew what he was getting in for when he married me, because I have a huge family. It's now expanded greatly since we even got together. We've been married, 24 years, and this is my second marriage. But there are a lot of kids in my family, as most of you know. All of us have kids, and some have 5, and one has 4, and most of us have 2, but it's a lot. So in fact, the brother whose daughter got married last night, he has 8 kids, and it's such a beautiful thing. So we have opportunities, and we have taken them in the family. With our parents have both passed on, my dad 25 years ago, my mom 8 years ago. We've kind of taken on that parental role of having family functions, having family dinners, having family gatherings. People know they're always welcome here. And to me, the face-to-face is super, super important. And it helps us, it carries us through tough times, our families. So the second thing I wrote down here is that one of the health benefits of spending time with your family is that it can boost your self-confidence, can lowers behavioral problems in kids, and helps kids learn future parenting skills. I think that all of us, especially as maybe a mom, we might cringe a little bit if we find ourselves doing something or saying something, even with the same tone, that our mom used to say. It's like, oh my goodness, I sounded just like my mom. So that is actually something to be aware of. If you are a parent and you're in a group with your family and friends, and there's lots of kids around, they're watching how you parent, and they're also watching how your siblings parent and how their cousins parent. And when I talk about family relationships, let me just say this right in this part. You might not either have a big family, you might only have one sibling, you might have no siblings, you might not have parents that are living. You might be, maybe there was an abusive situation, maybe, like, there are all kinds of families. It does not have to be biological. I have some friends who their family are their friends, and these are the people they lean on, they go to first, they spend dinners with and Thanksgivings with and Christmas with, and our family does not have to be our biological family. So when I say the health benefits of spending time with your family, for many people, it can mean the family that you have created around you, the people who are the closest to you, and you nurture those relationships. So it can help kids learn future parenting skills. I love that. So the third thing I wrote down here is that it teaches effective conflict resolution. Now think about this. Your family, you're kind of stuck with them, right? So it's really, really, really important that you nurture your relationships, and that you have, as respectful as you can, conflict resolution. Over the years, there's been things that have happened with all of my siblings, sometimes something different. In fact, I've told the story before of 25 years ago, probably 26 years now, I built a business, a health club with one of my sisters, and it ended poorly. The business failed, and it failed really big. We both lost a lot of money. We lost a lot of time, everything. And there were a couple of months where we didn't speak with each other, and it could have turned into something really, really permanent and lifelong, where there was a permanent rift between us. But we both realized pretty quickly that our relationship as sisters was a lot more important than this business that we had started, that we'd failed and we'd lost a lot in. And of course, we both blamed each other and whatever. And we've talked through this over the years about a bunch of different things. But the cool thing is while it can take 2 people to really see a resolution, if maybe you're someone who maybe has a little more emotional maturity, emotional flexibility, and I'm not saying it makes, you're better than anybody, but if you really see it for what it is, and you're able to put the olive branch down first, then your family is your family. And I believe we chose to come down and have these families, you know, the siblings that we have, and maybe even we get to choose our parents. I mean, of course, I don't really know, but it feels like this is such a beautiful space to be in, because through thick and thin, blood is thicker than water, all those things, you know, your family is your family. So if there is some conflict resolution that needs to happen with someone that's in your family that hasn't happened yet, I would really, really highly suggest that you do your best to resolve those if it's possible. And I know there are certain situations that live outside of that really don't qualify. I know there's all kinds of gray areas. So one of the benefits too is that having a strong family relationship is that it can actually reduce stress. And we know that when we have less stress in our life, everything about our health improves. Our immune system is able to stay strong. You know, our hormones can stay in balance, so many things. So those with strong, healthy family relationships tend to seek out healthier coping mechanisms for stress, such as having someone to confide in. You know, I mean, my parents gave me a built-in group of best friends, sisters. You know, I have 8 sisters besides myself, and then I have 5 brothers, but there are 9 girls in my family, and my sisters are my best friends. And I do have some really good girlfriends that I can turn to if I need to, and I have in the past, but my first go-to, my biggest confidants are my sisters. And, you know, I was very close with my mom as well, and I could, you know, she was always a good ear for me. So I think that when you have these close family relationships and you can confide in them and talk through some of your problems, and you know, have some coping mechanisms in place because you have someone to confide in, I think that is a really beautiful way to release stress, because then you're talking with someone who loves you unconditionally and has no judgment. And this is where I would say, choose your confidants strategically, because you don't want to tell your deepest secrets that you need to get off your chest to someone who's going to then spread it around to the family. And, you know, because we all know that gossip is a killer. This is something that you want to, you know, like I have a sister we're very close with each other. We talk almost every day. And through all the years that we've been married, and kids and grandkids and all of this, even if I have an issue in my marriage, something I just need to get off my chest, I know that she'll not only listen, she won't spread it around, but she won't treat my husband any different, because she knows this is just something I need to get off my chest. And it's not, so to me it's like there are strategic things when we are sharing information to help keep our stress levels low. Our families can be our best friend therapists, right? So that one is a really cool one. Now the next one I wrote down here is that healthy family relationships promote adaptability and resilience. Okay, your ability to face life's challenges and changes is greatly improved by strong family bonds. So when there's a change, I mean, look what happened when the lockdowns happened. I know that actually created a lot of conflict for some families, because their worldview was different and what they believed, and their fear factor was different. But I know for many families, it made a stronger bond, and families help us get through tough times. And that was a very interesting, tough time for many, many people. And I think it was really tough for people who lived alone or didn't have strong family bonds to begin with, you know. So being with family gives you the feeling of knowing that you belong, that you are cared for, and that you are needed, and you have a sense of purpose. Because we all know that when we have a sense of purpose, it improves longevity. Just that alone. Hey, and there's just a couple more things here. So having a strong family relationships also enhances your physical health. With the right kind of activities, spending time with your family can improve your health. So think about that first sentence. With the right type of activities, spending time with your family can improve your health. You know, we love to get together and swim and play volleyball. We love to hike together. We love to go walking together. And then here's another thing. Families who eat home-cooked meals tend to have a healthier diet. And I think that just happens automatically when you're cooking your own food at home. And when you're eating around the dinner table. So if this is not something that's part of your family, it's time to bring that back. And there might be some pushback if people are used to grabbing fast food and eating in front of the TV, or everyone zoning into their technology while there's mealtime happening. Bring the family meals back, bring the conversations back, and make it a technology-free zone. That alone can really start improving your health and making everything about your life better. So participating in outdoor activities like hiking, walking, biking, sports, games, and gardening. A lot of times families do these things together. And I know that this is something we've been doing my whole entire life. One of the biggest things my parents did with us was not only send us outside, but we were always taking family trips to like the sand dunes and up hiking and identifying plants and just being outside. And we always had a huge garden. So there was always that. And then the last one I wrote down here is that healthy relationships could increase your lifespan by more than 50%. If you look at all the studies and all of the things that have been researched about people with the longest, the longevity, the people who have longest lifespans, even those with unhealthy physical habits, but a strong social network, live longer than those without these types of relationships. This is something that I've talked about for a long time, and I think we all know that we are social creatures. We need each other, and we also need purpose. I think that we have been in a really interesting social construct right now where it seems like there's a bit of a victim mentality that is a little pervasive at the moment. But I think that if we nurture our social bonds, we nurture our families. I tell both my boys, at the end of my life, if I'm the last one left between me and my husband, I'm not going into old folks' home if I'm not able to live on my own and take care of myself. I'm living with one of you because I want to be a participating part of a household, and both of my boys are very much yes. But to me, this is where it is. And I will tell you, this family wedding, if you made it to the end of this video, this was a really special wedding. The brother whose daughter got married 2 years ago, his 19-year-old son left this life too early. It was devastating for our family. We actually lost, I lost two nephews within about 6 weeks of each other. My 19-year-old nephew to suicide, and then about 6 weeks later, my oldest sister's son from a motorcycle accident. This was in 2021. And so it's, we all go through these really hard, traumatic times, and death is part of a reality of life, and hopefully these things make us realize how important family is and how we should forgive easier and love each other harder and more, and release petty things that don't serve us, and realize that we are here as a pure expression of God. We are a piece of creation, and this is a momentary blip of time that we have on this earth, and every moment should count. So release the things that don't matter. Have lots of love in your heart. Forgive quickly. Love your family. Hug them. Tell them how much you love them every time you see them. We just don't know when it's our time to go, or someone that we love deeply. We don't know when it's their time to go. And I think that if you have the opportunity to participate in a family wedding, even if it's not someone that you know very well, go participate. Be a part of the celebration of life and family. And if it's someone you don't know well, go. If you've been invited, go and then get to know them. Because I think that what happens is we get an invitation from a cousin who maybe you didn't grow up with or you're not close to, but you get an invitation to a wedding or something. We think, oh, I don't know them very well. I don't want to go through the hassle of going. And we miss these opportunities to develop these strong family bonds. And I think that it's very, very important, especially now, as we realize that we need each other. We are here for each other, and we don't know what the future holds. And we do know that the love we have is something that stays with us forever. So thanks so much for watching, you guys. I hope you have a beautiful Sunday. I hope your day is filled with lots of family, even if it's not your biological family, even if it's only one person, doesn't have to be lots. I hope you have an amazing week ahead. Thanks so much for tuning in. Subscribe if you're not, hit the thumbs up, and share if this feels like something that someone else might benefit from. But I love you guys tons, and we'll talk to you soon.